Hello everyone, it's Crystal Ether here. Today, I'll be ranking Brad's 4-star cards in HELIOS Rising Heroes. While we don't know too much about him lore-wise, the Mentor Leader has 9 4-star cards that players can access and has both Shining Stars and Duds to speak about. Only the 4-star cards released up to this point will be considered and will be ranked at max limit break potential to account for skill cooldown reductions. Rankings follow the on-screen rules and will only be tiered for that character only. An S-tier Brad is not necessarily superior to an A-tier Keith. Before we begin, I want to state that these rankings are based on my own reasoning and should not be taken as an absolute, nor is there a significant difference between cards within the same tier. Please exercise your own judgment when building teams and note that no card is considered unusable even if they're given a very low rating. At the end of the day, play how you like. You don't need to follow the meta to progress in HELIOS Rising Heroes. As always, whether you're joining me here or from an annotation of your choice, let's get started! If you're starting to see a pattern, don't panic. The second anniversary cards are powerful and almost all of them deserve a spot in S tier for their ease of use and strong buffing potential. Brad's second anniversary version provides potent critical rate and critical damage boosts, and his defense down buff makes him great for longer fights if an enemy doesn't nullify them. On the other hand, this Brad has respectable defensive support and healing over time and a defense up versus technique damage. He balances both offense and defense and accurately reflects his status as a Mentor Leader, making this Brad card an excellent choice for newbies. The recently released New Year's Brad follows in the footsteps of Delinquent Keith, buffing his offensive stats sky high and regenerating BP with each of his critical hits. It's very hard to go wrong with this card, as there's no game mode that prioritizes survival over raw damage. Hitting harder is simply mitigating future damage, after all. Unfortunately, Brad lacks frames that can provide him with the attack orbs he so desperately needs, unlike Keith. Pair him with heroes that can address this need, and there's very few enemies that won't be defeated in a single attempt. Winter Brad suffers from being a technique attribute DPS, so he'll have to compete with his New Year's version. His HP requirements and inability to generate his BP gauge quickly means he falls short to the latter, even though he can provide himself with a steady supply of attack orbs. This isn't to say that he's useless, far from it. Winter Brad is strong with his own merits, HP requirements aside. Plus, he's available in the common pool if you're hoping to roll for him, unlike New Year's Brad. I won't deny that I got a jump scare seeing that Yukata Brad is also a technique card, but thankfully he plays a supporting role rather than dealing damage. His team-wide attack buff requires his burst skill is a weird choice, but his special attack orb generation is unmatched. Alongside his soul mechanic, this Brad is a BP generator that can work alongside other powerful buffers to blow up bosses in a few turns. His link partners are a bit questionable, as while they fit within the context of the story he's featured in, there aren't many occasions outside of a hyper carry team where you'd pair this Brad with Faith, Dino, or Jay. A damage link is always welcome, however, so you'll be hard-pressed to find a superior option to this card for what he can do. Wrapping up the A tier is 3rd Anniversary Brad, who's also a technique type. Oh. Well, this commemorative card is a mix of his 2nd Anniversary and Yukata cards, providing critical rate, critical damage, and PP gauge for the entire team. Their buff starts off weak due to being stackable buffs, but they're suitable in many situations and teams that it's hard to go wrong with this card. I'd argue that his critical rate link is actually redundant within many cards in the game that can buff that core stat, and should be changed to an attack or burst damage up buff if he ever gets a remix or something similar. This card isn't an A tier because he's bad, but because his other cards provide just a bit more than what 3rd Anniversary Brad brings to the table. Brad's Gentleman card may look sharp in a sleek suit and tie, but his early release into Helios' lifespan hasn't done him many favors. Wait, he's also technique? Isn't this a little excessive? Anyways, as one of the first 4-star cards, its skillset adopts a mixed approach for newer players who haven't built up their roster yet. His substitute skill has low uptime, but being able to direct attacks onto himself while also significantly reducing passion damage is a great safety net against bosses. His single target debuff is also powerful, but Gentleman Brad would have preferred a pure attack down debuff to solidify his role as a tank. Unfortunately, tanking is a hard role to justify in a game that prioritizes quick kills, so players in the middle to late game will likely slot this card out from their team. We've yet to see a game mode where survival is encouraged, and I'd love for the developers to implement something along those lines in the future. But until then, Gentleman Brad will have to wait for his time to shine. Spring Brad is another burst skill centered card, but lacks the ability to consistently generate the special attack orbs he needs to provide support throughout the fight. With strict requirements on his skills, it's difficult to justify this card over other supporters, especially his first anniversary version, which shares the same attribute. If you can make him work though, a 50% boost to burst damage is not to be underestimated in a hyper carry team. Rounding off B tier is Brad's first anniversary card, simply because there are better options in offensive support. He has a respectable attack and critical rate buffs, and his Link skill is useful for any South Passion team. First anniversary Brad's BP regeneration skill is out of place, as skill damage teams aren't interested in their burst skills when reductions to their cooldowns would help them more. Adding on to this is that skills are best used as soon as they are available, especially for stacking buffs that can run out if they aren't renewed in time. Optimizing this skill while it's active is much easier said than done. As far as buffers go, first anniversary Brad isn't actually bad, but there are too many competitors that his gimmick only hinders his chances as a team member. Welcome to the lone member of C tier, Brad's initial version. This card, there are problems with this card. You see that he's a cool attribute card, right? Cool is weak to passion. They take 30% more damage from passion, and it's generally recommended not to bring disadvantageous cards to a team if you can help it. So tell me, Happy Elements, why did you give initial Brad a passive that buffs his damage against passion types? It doesn't make sense and teaches new players bad practices in Helios. He's cute, but that doesn't mean you should ignore the attribute wheel altogether. To add salt to the wound, his buffs are flat values with a medium modifier with roughly 50% uptime at max limit break. It's not enough that he's bad, he actually has a fundamental issue that should have been addressed during development. Replace that awful passive with an attack or HP buff for his cool allies, something that'll be useful. As a side note, I do like Brad a lot as a character, I just have issues with problems like this. There's no hate to him specifically. Yeah, he has problems. Seriously. That's why he's the only one here. Most of the mentor-leaded cards are absolute bangers that might as well be taped in many teams for their power, excluding his early cards. Brad's New Year's version alone is worthy enough to star as a main DPS role, so I won't be too upset if we don't get another Brad card for a while yet. His fans have quite a feast. That's all for this ranking session. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next video.